Angular at Google. Today, David and I will share with you how to build future-proof web applications in Angular and TensorFlow.js. Google has been pioneering in the machine learning space with different products. For example, with Google Assistant using voice recognition in Google Photos and Smart Compose in Gmail. To take advantage of machine learning with JavaScript, we've been using TensorFlow.js. TensorFlow.js is an open source project which allows anyone to run existing ML models, retrain custom models for more specific use cases. One of the strengths of TensorFlow.js is that it sets the foundation of successful libraries and tools. Are Danfo.js, Face API. Using TensorFlow.js in the browser usually involves installing it, configuring it, and finally querying the model. You would first have to start by installing TensorFlow.js, a model, and the backend that will execute. After that, you can configure the model and integrate with your when we type something into the chat box, the app gives us heads up if the message considered offensive by the people we're chatting with. To do this, when they start typing something into the text box, we need to check if their message is toxic or not. A naive approach would be to get the words in the sentence and check if any of them belongs to a dictionary of toxic words. This, however, can return some false positives. For example, calling a person horrible is toxic, but expressing our opinion that the weather is horrible will probably not hurt anyone's feeling and should be considered non-toxic. This means that our basic heuristic is not going to work well in the general case. Luckily though, TensorFlow.js offers a toxicity, which by using natural language processing categorizes different criteria. You can find it in the node package registry. To use it in our application, we'll first have to install it. After that, we'll have to import it together with TensorFlow.js in the application. Next, we'll have to configure the model and load it. After that, a change event listener to the chat box. And finally, we'll have to query the model on change of the input, updating the label manually, if it's toxic or not. Handling edge cases and race condition would make this pseudocode even more complicated and tangled. Although TensorFlow.js is fast and well optimized, running the model on a large input could also block the main thread and cause frame drops. Let us see how we can implement this with Angular and its TensorFlow.js bindings. All we need to do to install and configure the app is just run ng-add-ngx-tfj. This would automatically install all the required modules and TensorFlow.js with our application, following best practices. It will also export a process to use the toxicity and query it out of the main thread so that we don't drop frames. Now let us see how to implement the entire app by Angular. First, show all the messages. We would use the message list component. After that, we'll provide an input, binding it to a text property. This way, when the input changes, categorize the text as toxic or not. We'll start showing the value of the text property on the screen. And right after that, the prediction by using the async pipe. Also to give the user heads up visually if they need to give their message a second thought before sending it. And here is saying that the weather is great is not considered toxic, but calling it is toxic. There are many applications varying from natural language processing, image processing, recommenders, and so on and so forth. In this example, we looked at one sample use case. Now David will share a
Now, let's take a look at site use case. E-commerce sites provide many opportunities to leverage ML to improve the user experience. We will make our example concrete by using data from the Google Merchandise Store. In this case, we're going to focus on how we can use machine learning to drive down user. Latency is highly important to e-commerce sites because it has been directly linked to and can even increase the rate of prefetching solution. Conversions by 50%. As you see here, whenever the user clicks on a different page, this harms user interactivity and prevents users from having a smooth experience. So, how do we prefetch the next page before the user clicks on it? Now, this is inherently challenging because every different usage patterns. They have different layouts and content. As a result, it is not predictable the next page that the user will visit. That are likely to benefit most from prefetching are bandwidth trained. High quality predictions. This will be trained on site data from Google Analytics and will be run by Angular to perform. The steps will look as follows. We will export Google Analytics data to BigQuery, which is a large-scale data store. We will then use data processing to convert the data into features that we want. Next, we will run TFX, which is our machine learning pipeline, create a TFJS model. Finally, we will integrate the TFJS model with Angular. To make all of this happen, we simply configure Google Analytics to export to BigQuery, AI notebook to work with. Now, let's talk about how to use data flow to obtain what we wish to train on. Code highlights how we obtain the training features using data flow. We take as a list of Google Analytics. We traverse through the events, taking both the index and the page path. We then take the page associated with the following event label. Please note that every site is different, and any other features that would be useful to the model can be added simply by extending the features. Now, other steps we need to take in data, such as reading data from big or storing training data, but consistent across pipeline. Provided examples to help you get started. TF pipeline that we're using to take the training data and in this case, we will use TFX to create, as you can see from the code here, to run TFX, you modify two functions, the preprocessing function, and the preprocessing function is used to specify perform on the data before it is used by the model. The next page. In addition, TFX provides a rich set of examples for creating models for a wide range of goals. Now, why use TFX? There are many benefits to using TFX, including end-to-end integration. TFX can directly import data from BigQuery, cloud storage, or many other locations. It automatically inspects the data for abnormalities that can harm model quality. It trains the model at scale, using GPU, TPUs if needed. Finally, it evaluates and validates the models to ensure they are high quality before they are made available to the user. TFX natively supports TFJS, which means that the exported TFJS models are ready to use with Angular. Finally, TFJS is a general purpose pipeline. It allows you to design your model architecture or use one of the latest or image processing or many other domains. And these models can be deployed in many places, including servers, mobile devices, or browsers. Now, why use TFJS? TFJS works in any JavaScript environment, whether it be browsers, server-side with Node.js, mobile devices, or IoT. TFJS is optimized for client-side inference. It has small bundle sizes that are lightweight, and it also supports model quantization, which can reduce model size by up to 4. There's many benefits to client-side inference. It both preserves user privacy and server cost. Finally, TFJS is fast. It can use side acceleration such as GPUs or WebAssembly to speed up inference, and it is specifically optimized for a variety of devices, including iOS and Android. Now, let's talk about how we would integrate our TFJS model with Angular. Our Angular and TFX integration can lazily load the model to avoid impacting load time performance, which would harm the user experience. Similarly, it can run the model off the main thread as a worker thread to ensure that frames are not dropped, negatively affecting the user. Finally, it can use the model to adaptively prefetch pages, striking the right balance based on the user's connection. Our approach has many benefits. We're able to build a custom machine learning model that is tailored to every site by leveraging existing automation that connects Google Analytics, BigQuery, Dataflow, TFX and TFJS, and Angular. Our approach is turnkey. We can leverage the services and data that are readily available to provide a high-quality solution. Finally, this approach opens the door to creating a personalized experience for every user. We can use custom machine learning models to provide an experience that is tailored to every user's individual needs. You can think of this predictive experience as a progressive enhancement over your existing e-commerce platform. Thank you. We hope that you will visit the examples to learn more.
Hi, my name is Maximilian Schwarzmuller, and in this course, I will teach you all about React, the most popular JavaScript library you can learn these days. Now, in this course, we're going to build a complete example project, and you're going to learn all about the important key features you need to know about React step by step. And therefore, let's dive right in, and let's dive into the most important question first. What exactly is React? So let's dive right into this video and this topic by answering the most important question first. What exactly is React.js and why would we use it? Why do we need it? What's the problem it helps us solve? Regarding the what, we can of course visit reactjs.org, the official webpage of React.js. And there we learn that React is a JavaScript library, and it's a JavaScript library for building user interfaces. Now, that's quite straightforward. It's a library for the JavaScript programming language that helps us build user interfaces. But what exactly does this nice sentence mean? React.js is a library, and to be precise, it's a client-side library. It's about client-side JavaScript. So the JavaScript code which runs in the browsers of your visitors. And that is important because we use JavaScript in the browser to manipulate web pages after they were loaded. And that allows us to build
Hey everyone, this is Martin. As you can see, I'm dialing in from the car. These are the benefits of working remote these days. I suppose I was just at the office. I left the office and I'm dialing in here in a safe space on a parking lot to BeerJS Summit 2021. So welcome everyone. Seems like we had some connection issues. Hopefully my connection in the car is stable. I think it's pretty cool to see that this is a hybrid event that you're having beer in Maymunarnika Park in Borisova Gradina, and it's pretty cool to see that these, a big thanks goes out to your organizers, Minko Geceo and Michal Mateo. Thank you for the invite. To introduce myself, I'm Martin Tatar. I'm a Microsoft Community Program Manager. What does that mean? It means I work with our technical ambassador community and our developer community, kind of developer relations, similar to Minko at Google. And I work with our two groups. We call them MVPs, Microsoft Most Valuable Professionals. And we also call the other group Microsoft Regional Directors. And these are our technical ambassadors that specialize in different technologies, including JavaScript, including development. And I just wanted to join here, your friendly community around JavaScript, JS, and I'm not going to preach too much about Microsoft, right? And this is not the place. Just wanted to make you aware that we also have a large community of JavaScript developers, and many of our technical ambassadors focus on this area. So if you want to learn more about our programs, check out mvp.microsoft.com or rd.microsoft.com. I'm happy to talk to you. Connect me on LinkedIn. And I wish I could be there and have a beer, but I have to drive and be responsible. But hopefully we can connect sometime later in the fall. I did want to share with you, as I mentioned, we are friendly, open to all development languages. Oftentimes there's maybe a perception that we're only focused on Microsoft technologies, but we're open to all the technologies and all the development languages. And you can see that with GitHub and a lot of our recent changes. And I'm not sure if it will let me screen share, but there's this one website I did want to show you. Let's see if this works. I'm not sure this will work. I'll give it a shot. There we go. I think it might work. So I'm sharing my screen here. You can see we have this site called Microsoft Docs and Learn. So this is our source of kind of education and learning. And I think it's all about skilling and upskilling and making sure you help your community learn and skill. So these are some free resources around the resources we have around JavaScript, whether you're a beginner or professional. And these are some of the tools we offer. So, definitely check this website out. It's a pretty easy website. You can see at the top here, or just, Google it or Bing it. And with that, I wanted to say, it brings the word community. Let me try to stop sharing here. So the word community, it's a big one. Recently, the last 2-3 years, we're seeing a large trends of companies, hiring community program managers or focusing around communities, and it's an ever more so important focus these days during the pandemic. And I just want to stress the fact that with the word community, what's exciting is that you're meeting there right now, having beers and drinks, and it's probably going to be a beautiful sunset, and it's a really cool hybrid event. So cherish that. Cherish the fact that your two organizers, Minko and Mihal, put this together, and be strong as a community. Come together. It's really important whether you're a community over here or over here. Continue interacting. Continue sharing that knowledge. Continue bringing in more people, diverse people. People that you haven't approached, so that your community can grow, so that you can share your passion and knowledge, and make your products and services better. So I'd leave it at that. Again, kind of, I don't think I've ever joined from the car, so hopefully it's not too unprofessional, but enjoy the day, and see you around maybe in the fall. So have fun, have a drink for me.
Stripes Bulgaria was founded in 2008 by the Dutch entrepreneur Koen van Wijk. His vision was to create solutions that exceed customer expectations. Since 2014, Stripes is part of the ICT Group in the Netherlands. ICT Group is a stock-listed company on the Amsterdam Stock Exchange and employs more than 1,000 professionals. Since 2017, I have the privilege and honor to drive Stripes forward in the role of CEO. We offer solutions to our clients in digital transformation, smart applications, and infrastructure. Our mission is to build smart solutions that create business impact. We are Stripes.
These days, if you don't have an app, you are falling behind. If you are not using your data, your competition is making better decisions. If you are not automating, your work processes are getting outdated. These days, no matter what industry you are in, you need tech R&D to stay relevant. And that wouldn't be a problem if setting it up was easy. Imagine that you could just press a button and have an R&D department spring to life. Imagine that the team already knows each other and works well together. Imagine that ways of work are industry leading, yet the culture is unmistakably your own. Imagine that you have access to an extensive network in an abundant, cost-efficient talent market. Can you imagine how easy scaling would be? Imagine there is a partner that could set it all up for you, operate it until it's up to speed, and then, when you decide, transfer it over to you. A partner that only succeeds when you succeed, that makes costs 100% predictable, gives you access to industry expertise, and makes every aspect of recruitment and HR effortless. Imagine the power of that. At Anthill, we imagined a service that would do all that, and then made it a reality. We think it transforms IT innovation from existential threat to low-hanging fruit, empowering your business to be well-equipped for the age of AI, virtual reality, and the Internet of Things. Learn more at anthill.one.
Всичко за Office R&D започна 2015 година, когато с още един Миро решихме да създадем компания и да решим един много голям проблем, който тогава ни се струваше, именно как се управлява офис пространство на